Hi everyone! Thank you for joining me for this special edition of Storytime with Miss Sarah, where we're going to be reading the Christmas classic, The Night Before Christmas. So, like I do with all my story times, let's get started with our hello song. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? How are you today? I am fine, I hope you are too. I am fine, I hope you are too. I am fine, I hope you are too. I hope you're fine today. Clapping my hands, you do it too. Clapping my hands, you do it too. Clapping my hands, you do it too. Clap your hands with me. So, like I said, it's Christmas Eve. Everyone excited for Santa to come? Let's see. So here it is, the night before Christmas, as retold and illustrated by Rachel Isadora. And the original was written by Clement C. Moore. "'Twas the night before Christmas." Oh, the perfect Christmas Eve night, huh? When all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. So there are your stockings already. I know mine is. The children were nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, threw up the sash. Oh, so there goes the father. Let's see what's going on. Who do you think he's gonna see? The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh, and 8 tiny reindeer. With the little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. So see, there he is down there. There's all his reindeer. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher. So he's got to call the other reindeers. Now Dancer, now Prancer, and Vixen. Do you know the names of the other reindeer? On Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So do you have a favorite reindeer? And I always liked Comet. Dasher's pretty cool too. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. Oh, so he hears the reindeer on top of his house. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. There he is, getting all the toys out. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the bead of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. There's Santa Claus. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. Oh yeah, because he looks really friendly, doesn't he? He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. So there's all the cool toys laid up. Now I gotta say, I really like this zebra toy. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team, gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." There he is, flying away. Yay. So I always love that one. And one of the things I like about it is there are so many different versions of it. There's an Under the Sea version, there's a librarian version, and a special bonus book. We're doing 2 today. There's a Native American Night Before Christmas, adapted and written by Gary Robinson and illustrated by Jesse T. Hummingbird. And I looked them up, and they are both descendants of the Cherokee Nation. "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the teepee not a creature was stirring, nothing crawly, nothing creepy." Oh, I like the snowmen they made. So you can already see some ways that this is similar to the other one we read, and some ways it's different. Moccasins were hung from the lodge poles with care, in hopes that old Red Shirt and Time would be there. So they're hanging up things too, because they want to get the presents from, they, instead of Santa Claus or St. Nick, they say Old Red Shirt. The kids were nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of choke cherries danced in their heads. So I just want to point out the dog. It makes me laugh how his tongue is just hanging out as he's sleeping. You think the doggy's having a good dream? Maybe he's dreaming about getting something like a big juicy bone from Santa or something like that. In my Pendleton and Ma in her skins had just cuddled up cozy against cold winter winds. Oh, they look like they are asleep. They are just ready to go to bed. When out in the camp rose a noise so humongous, I thought a wildcat had sneaked in among us. All at once I jumped up and ran through the clutter, threw back the flap, and made the lodge shudder. Okay, so now he heard a noise. So what do you think he's gonna see? The moon and the stars in the night sky were a-blinkin', like the headlight that shines on my '69 Lincoln, when what to my wondering eyes did show but an old wooden sleigh and 8 buffalo. Let's see, so buffalo instead of reindeer. I think buffalo are pretty cool. With the plump little driver, who looked so well fed, I thought for a bit he was flying fry bread. In thundering clouds, those mammoths they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Haro, now Red Bow, now Chino and Cola, on Tall Chief, on White Cloud, on Sam and Yahola, to the top of the trees, to the top of the bushes. Haul ye your fat fur and move out your big tushes. So what do you think of the buffaloes' names? I like them. Like pine cones caught up and all tossed by a whirlwind, suspended in air by the magic of medicine. Up to the lodge top, the bison they soared, with a sleigh of commodities, goodies, and more. Ooh, so he has lots of goodies too for the kids. Then, in a moment, they froze there in space, and I felt the color all drained from my face. I turned back inside, just as quick as a wink, as down the smoke hole old Red Shirt did sink. Oh, so smoke hole, that's like the chimney in the other one. Dressed in red buckskins from his head to his foot, with beadwork and fringes, he really looked good. A medicine bundle that he had by his side, on his back, a large bag made of buffalo hide. A headdress he wore on his head like a crown, made of white turkey feathers, all tips and brown. His skin was wrinkled as sun-bathed earth, but none of these things really told of his worth. His face was like granite, his features so timeless. I knew that his soul held nothing but kindness. He spoke not a word, used sign language instead, and filled all the moccasins with toys and fry bread. Ooh, so look at all the goodies he's putting in the moccasins. Because remember, they use moccasins in this one, and the other story it was stockings. And then, like smoke rising into the night, he gave me a wink and took to his flight. Finished. Kids got all their presents. Up through the smoke hole into his sleigh, waking his team with a hearty hoka-hey. And I heard him exclaim, as they roared out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all my relations, and to all a good night." There he is, waving bye to everyone as he goes to the next place. I liked this one too. And also one of the things I liked is there's a glossary at the back, so it might have some terms you're not familiar with. Like at the end of this one, instead of saying Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night, it used all my relations. And it explains in the back that for Native Americans, they use that phrase as a blessing at the end of special ceremonies, which I think is pretty cool, and I liked that. And they also talked about choke cherries, which is a type of wild cherry that grows in the northern plains and is used as a ceremonial food. And of course, fry bread was mentioned quite a bit. And fry bread is a part of the Native American diet. And they usually eat it with honey or smothered with ground beef. Or they use it for an Indian taco or Navajo taco. That sounds really good. So that you also might have noticed that the buffalo names were a little different. And it said there are a few of the common names found among the Native American people of several different tribes. And at the end when he shouted Hokahe, that is from Lakota warriors. They sometimes would shout that when charging in the battle, but tribal elders say it translates to hold fast, there is more. So that kind of makes sense because he's telling the buffalo, okay, we're going to the next house. And let's see. Okay, so instead of Santa Claus, they said Old Red Shirt, which refers to the Native American Santa Claus. So they didn't have tribal words for Saint Nick or Santa Claus. And sometimes Native Americans give people endearing nicknames based on their appearance or actions. So red shirt, Santa typically wears a red shirt. So yeah, that was pretty cool. We learned a little something new. And now it's time for all you kids to go to bed because tomorrow's Christmas. And you know what? My Santa. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming. Santa Claus is coming. Santa Claus is coming to town. Yay! Yay Christmas! Yay Santa! I hope everyone has a very merry and safe Christmas. So I'll see you next week. And yeah, until then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I hope you enjoy all your presents.